Well, I don't know how, but somehow Texas was even worse than we could have imagined. A lot of people are saying it's even worse than what happened in 2008 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I could not disagree more. Apparently, y'all just forgot how bad that race was, and I understand what happened at Texas this weekend was pretty darn upsetting. So today on Shifting Gears, I'm gonna ask what was worse, Texas 2022 or Indianapolis 08? I'm Alan Bailey, and before we get started, make sure you smash the subscribe button to stay up to date on all the latest videos, and log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest on this and other developing motorsports news. So let me get something straight right out of the gate. I'm not going to sit here and defend what we saw over the weekend at the Texas Motor Speedway. I think that NASCAR, Goodyear, and whatever moron decided to reconfigure the Texas Motor Speedway are all equally responsible for this catastrophe. And yes, Goodyear messed up. Yes, NASCAR really messed up. And yes, the Texas Motor Speedway supremely messed up. But was the accumulation of everything that we saw in Texas over the weekend worse than what we saw back in 2008 at Indianapolis? I don't necessarily think so. Here's why. In practice, the teams realized that there was kind of an issue with the tires that were provided. They were just wearing down too quickly, and because of the abrasiveness of Indianapolis and other characteristics of the brand new COT car, which was being used for the first time at the track, for some reason the track wouldn't rubber in, and tires were being shredded after just a few laps, literally. NASCAR and Goodyear saw what was going on, and for some reason they chose to do nothing. Oh boy. I'll give them this though, they didn't change the tire like they should or attempt to do something about the tire. Instead, they just decided to implement caution periods after about 10 laps for tire wear, a procedure that they used back in '69 at Talladega, the first Talladega race, where the drivers boycotted over tire issues. Do you see history repeating itself here just a little bit? For Indianapolis in 2008, we would see cautions every 10 to 12 laps of green flag racing. But when the race started, Michael Waltrip had an incident, big surprise there on lap number 4.
Showed you Carl Edwards avoiding disaster a moment ago. Whoa, trouble, 55. Michael Waltrip smacks the wall hard. Debris coming off the car, a couple of cars going around him. That's Terry Labonte just able to get by.
Yeah, Paul Menard got a piece of that also.
Menard drove me.
You see the cars in turn 2.
It looks like Michael just lost the car.
Loose on the inside of Sam Hornish there. Looks like he's going to be okay there maybe. He's spinning down to the inside, but the 15 had nowhere to go.
Like I say, I think Paul Menard got some damage out of that because he hit Michael pretty hard. Sam Hornish very lucky there. He just, as Michael got sideways, he almost slid right up into Sam.
And that's one of the things you face here as you're racing with other cars, is as you enter these corners, your car tends to really get loose. And that seems like what happened to Michael. He lost some air there, and the car just got away from him. Again, looked like he was just going to spin to the inside, but Paul Menard had nowhere to go but to hit him.
So they moved the competition caution back until lap 14. But right before that, Kurt Busch lost control of the car coming off turn 1, hitting Kevin Harvick in the process, taking out 2 of the contenders.
On lap 14.
Oh, trouble. Kevin Harvick has hit it hard.
Yeah, that looks like it could have been a problem with the tire.
And also the 2 car of Kurt Busch involved. 2 contenders. Hard impacts into the concrete.
Jamie?
It's a garage.
Guys,
You can get there.
You hear Kevin Harvick talking to his crew. He said that was a blown right front. He said the steering wheel is all the way around in a circle, guys. Tough day for Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Jamie, he did hit that wall very hard. He was coming off the corner. Actually, it looks like Kurt Busch lost the car and then hit the right front of Kevin's car, maybe blowing that tire out, but they both hit the wall pretty hard.
Yeah, they did. So this wasn't a tire issue right there, other than maybe the right rear just being worn on Kurt Busch's car, and that creating a problem.
Right along with Kevin Harvick's onboard camera, so you watch the 2 car get out of shape.
Outside, we got tire there.
That car, Kurt Busch, did turn sideways real quick on him, like it's an unexpected thing.
Yeah, and in talking to these drivers about how long did it take you to figure out you had a problem, they said it just happens all of a sudden. You're going along fine, and then the next thing you know, you're losing grip with either the rear end or the front end, whichever tire is going. And that looks like that could have been the case there. And unfortunately for Kevin Harvick, just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Jimmy Johnson will lead the parade down. There'll be a lot of engineers looking at tires, the Goodyear folks, the NASCAR folks, the crew chiefs.
Well, Junior looks pretty lonely out there on that straightaway. All these leaders coming in, and Junior stayed out.
Numerous drivers would suffer tire failures during the race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. would be the first on lap 26, blowing a right rear tire while leading the race.
Back at Indianapolis, trouble for the 88 car. Car bobbing and weaving. He has lost the lead, and he has a tire going down. He is now 17 laps in, or making 18 laps into a run. He pitted, remember, back on lap number 7.
Yeah, the good news is he thinks it's a left side tire that's going down right here. He's trying to get down in here and get to pit road. Right side tires are up. Looks like that left front tire is a little bit soft. Now, they passed up an opportunity to pit the last time by. See right here, just after Jimmy Johnson had made the pass, and he goes up the racetrack pretty hard here.
Just 3 laps later, Juan Pablo Montoya blew a tire coming off of turn 2. At that time, ESPN was reporting that there was a tire cording issue on Jeff Gordon's car.
Jimmy Johnson could actually visually see the tire coming apart on Jeff Gordon's car. Well, this is the right rear from the 24 car, and you can see how visible it is. Down to the copper, down to the nylon, very worn out. Also, just a pit stall down, the 42 car, that's where Juan Pablo Montoya's car was pitted. He also had a tire. His right rear exploded.
We're fast enough that we just need to see him when it comes time. One thing we need to watch is I think you might actually get better wear out front because you actually have some downforce. I think you get behind 2 or 3 cars, they slide, you might wear them worse. Just FYI.
Then on lap 74, Carl Edwards reported on the radio that he had a right rear tire issue. Then seconds later, on the exact same lap, Matt Kenseth would spin on the back straightaway with a right rear tire.
10 laps looks like it's the most that they can go here.
I can make it around,
Oh, Matt Kenseth is around. He knew he had slowed down and blew a right rear tire. You can see it blow the quarter off.
Caution down.
Yes, on the straightaway, it wouldn't blow in the corner, but instead come apart, disintegrating the back of the car, absolutely destroying it. Yeah, are you kidding me?
You're going close to 200 miles an hour at the end of these straightaways, and when that tire does go flat and the pieces start flying, I mean, it's a lot of force. You can see it just takes the entire right side quarter panel off of it.
I should have been 3 laps ago. It's just so hard to communicate around here.
Yeah, what Matt's talking about is it's such a big racetrack, and the radios don't work that great over on the backstretch. They're trying to talk to each other, and they probably didn't have good enough reception.
Only that, he doesn't want to take his hand off the wheel to push that button, or even a couple of fingers to do that. So it does make it difficult. You're right. And the transmission from these guys that are sitting on the pit box here on the front stretch to when you're trying to talk to them can be very sketchy at times.
And Matt Kenseth in the garage area was not happy.
What was that feeling like, Matt? And did you have any idea the amount of damage there?
Well, yeah, it was like a small explosion. So, yeah, I could see in the mirror, the quarter window, and everything was blown off it. So it's just, it's a really, really, really disappointing situation. You know, this is one of the 2 biggest races of the year, and to never have this car here before, not come into an open test and work on these things, and work on the tires, is pretty darn disappointing. We had a great car today, and you know, I feel bad for the fans and everything. We're out there running 3/4 speed because we're worried the tires are blowing out, and we got them blowing out every 8 laps. So it's pretty disappointed.
Yeah, that's Robin Pemberton walking right there. He's a vice president, NASCAR competition. And he's concerned, I'll guarantee. He's going to talk to these guys, look at the situation.
ESPN reported that Kyle Busch had tire problems on lap 65. After that, tires would show a little bit of an improvement, even though the tires were still showing major cording.
Tires, and look at the cords in the middle of those tires that came off of Jeff Burton Chevrolet. Still some serious issues here with the tires at Indy.
NASCAR President Mike Helton would publicly go on TV during the race to address this issue.
Mike, frustrating, I know, for the teams and for the drivers. I know frustrating for you guys. What can you do right now?
Well, the biggest thing all day today is to keep it as safe as we can on the racetrack and evenly balanced as we can for all the competitors up and down pit road. And that's why we've had these competition cautions, more of them than we intended to have, thinking that this tire would rubber up sooner or later and the length between the wear out parts would get longer. But for whatever reason, it hasn't done that today. So we'll just keep managing it. We've got plenty of tires. We've got tires that they shifted from Pocono to here last night to be sure that we could get all 160 laps of this event in. So we'll keep managing this. They talk up and down pit road of the wear getting a little bit better, but certainly, 70 some or 80 some laps now into this race. In the past, when we've had similar situations, it's got a lot better by this point.
Mike, could this have been avoided? I know you had some tire testing and you guys were looking at tires and you brought Goodyear thought they brought a good tire here. How could we have avoided maybe this happening?
Well, I don't know. It's a good question, but the track, to our knowledge, has not ground any other areas that we didn't see last year. The compound of this tire is not much different than the compound last year. Goodyear did come in April and they tested with this car to pick the tire for this event. The temperatures aren't that awful. We have been up here and it's been pretty warm, but so I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions, but the effort today is to keep the race safe and to get it accomplished in the best manner possible. And certainly this isn't the way we wanted to do it, but we'll stay on top of it to be sure we can do it the best we can.
Hey, Mike, is there a point in the race that you'll actually put it in the crew's hands and not throw these competition yellows, or are you going to do it all the way to the end?
That's what we would prefer to do, and the sooner the better. But as long as we see the wear being what it is, then we'll keep doing it this way.
It was a disaster, to say the very least, in 2008. And honestly, a lot of people have pointed to this exact moment and said this is the reason the Brickyard 400 has declined and why it eventually went to the road course. Some say that this moment right here, this race in 2008 at Indianapolis, is what caused the decline of NASCAR's popularity, and it still hasn't recovered from it. Now, does that mean what we saw in Texas over the weekend is a sign, it's an omen? Ooh, NASCAR's done with! No. But frankly, ratings have been dropping exponentially over the course of the start of the playoffs. Now, does that mean that this is the end, that because the ratings have been down by double digits for the last 4 races, that the playoffs are dead and we need to abolish the playoffs? Well, frankly, that's a discussion for another video entirely, which is coming to the channel in the near future. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys, what do you think? Which race was worse for NASCAR and Goodyear? Indianapolis in 2008 or the Texas Motor Speedway in 2022? Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button and like button to help support the channel. You can also give me a follow on my social media accounts at HeyAlanBailey. Thank you so much for watching. For Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you at the track. Bye, Gearheads.